Yo guys, welcome back. Your boy is back from the Christmas break, even though I will go on a trip with my girlfriend for the next 3 days, I think, but there will be some videos, and after that I am back at full power, you could say it. Obviously, we still have to talk about the new Master Duel Forbidden and Limited Ban List update, as I have obviously seen this, but was not able to make a video according to this topic. So the new ban list will come into play on January 10th, which will probably also be the day where we will get the new pack. This is always fun because normally the ban list drops on the day of the new pack release. As of right now, we are aware of the fact that Super Heavy Samurai, a big combo deck, is coming, and then also Nemleria, which is not very impactful. We'll have to see whether something else is coming. I hope so, otherwise it will be a bit of a disappointment, the January pack that is. Though the last pack last January was also a disappointment when we only got, I think, the Mathmech support. I think the Mathmech Circular was the big thing in the pack, and then we also received the Therion stuff, but nothing too impactful there. Maybe that is just how Konami does it, question mark, could be the case. So we have cards to be unlimited, and we can scroll down to basically talk about all of them. We have Redox, Tidal, and Tempest going from their respective numbers to 3, which Tidal is definitely the one that is most impactful because he has the most homes in water decks. What do I think? We have seen this for a while now, OCG, TCG, and also Master Duel unbanning the Dragon Rulers. I think it's nothing to be aware of. I don't think this will change the game. I think this could have been a nice engine together with Kashira, because all of them are level 7, but now that Kashira will be slaughtered on this ban list, as we will see in a moment, I think that's not, or is no longer an option. So I think it's totally fine them going to 3. Maybe some people will pick them up, play with them, but I think they will not make a big meta impact. We have Speedroid Terrortop, which was on the ban list for a long time and obviously can come back now. Was a strong card in deck in the past, but obviously will not change the meta, same as with Predaplant, Orphis, Scorpio. So nothing too fancy here. Then we have the first interesting one in a Sword Soul Strategist, a Long Yarn, which goes from 2 to 3. Sword Soul was always a deck that was not bad. The times of it being the best decks are long gone, but you can definitely play Sword Soul. Have quite an easy climb to master, I would say. This is a solid deck with a solid strategy, nice going first and going second plan, and having this back at 3 is definitely very, very nice for the deck. Makes it more consistent. You will more often be able to hard draw this in your hand, which means that now you can use the search of your Chen Ying to search another card, for example, the Destruction Trap, because you might already have this one in hand with more consistency. Very nice. I like this. I like boosting up Sword Soul a bit because they are definitely on the weaker side of the meta decks, but this will definitely help. Then we have cards to be semi-limited. We are going purely Pretty Memory from 2 to 3. I'm from 3 to 2. I'm not quite sure why we are doing this. Purely has just recently received a hit, I think, and this also corresponds with the statistics on Untapped GG, that this is still a deck that is quite powerful in terms of win rate. So we have at the moment the Delicious at 2, which I thought would be a killing blow to this deck, but it is not. And keep in mind that we will still receive the new support card. This might be a hint as to us receiving the new support card, the Pearly Noir, the little black cat that you can make with the Sleepy Memory. Could be the case. We are getting the Pretty Memory to 2. I don't quite understand, because I think the Happy Memory is the way more impactful one. Putting the Happy Memory to 2 would have been way more impactful in hitting the deck. Pretty Memory, it's an important one, but not the most important one, I guess. I guess out of all of them, it's the least important one, I would say. Obviously, this weakens the Pearly Excavate 3, and this also just weakens the deck in terms of having a quick play spell in your starting hand, because if you don't, then you can basically not perform your basic combo. And now we come to the destruction of Kashira. We have cards to be limited. Kashira Fenrir from 2 to 1, very interesting. I'm happy getting the ultra rare crafting points back also on some other cards here. There can be only one, but yeah, Kashira Fenrir goes to 1, very interesting. So Obviously, the whole Kashira Fenrir put 2 in any deck package is basically dead now. You will still run this in the Kashira Pure version, of course, and you can also still make an argument for running this in any other deck, because obviously the search effect of Kashira Fenrir to search for the other one is not the strong effect that you want to basically use with your Fenrir. This has still an insanely strong interruption effect, but yeah, you now can no longer search an additional Fenrir that you can use on your next turn, or maybe also use if your opponent destroys your first Fenrir, then you can just special summon another one. It does not work anymore. I think we will not see Fenrir be gone from the meta totally, but there will be a lot less decks running him. Now he's more like a Dinosaur or Pankratops, though Pankratops is a bit different from Fenrir. In my opinion, I like the Fenrir more than Pank, but you could argue about that. We have Inspector Border going from 3 to 1. I really like this change, as the Runic stun decks are just unfun to play against. I'm also sure that people who play this deck don't have a lot of fun. That is at least my assumption, because it's so boring, it's so uninteractive, it's so Yu-Gi-Oh at its worst. So I'm super happy with Inspector Border going to 1. Also, there can be only one going to 1. I'm happy with all the floodgates being at 1. Obviously, this weakens Vanquished Soul a bit, though the most recent lists have not run Tikaboo at all, so that might not be an issue there. Pretty nice. I will get ultra crafting points back on both of them. I like Floodgates and uninteractive cards going to 1. I don't think that we have to forbid. There can be only 1, or Skill Drain or Rivalry. It's okay having them in 1, it's fine. But yeah, a pretty nice change if you ask me. Then we have Runic Destruction going from 2 to 1, obviously quite impactful. Every time you hit a Runic card, the engine becomes weaker, so they slowly over time kill the Runic engine. I think because people just don't like to play against this deck, and you want the people or your players to have fun in the game, so that's why So I think what you have to understand is that the ban list in the OCG and especially in the TCG definitely works different from the ban list in Master Duel. So in the TCG, the main target of Konami is obviously to make the deck or to make the game fun, or to make it so that the game is fun and stays fun. So if there is a very annoying deck, or people just don't want to play against this deck anymore, Tier Elements, for example, Tier 0 format, they need to change something. But they also want to use the ban list to sell their products, obviously, because if you kill all the old decks, this is what just recently happened on the TCG ban list, you kill all the old strong decks, now everyone basically has to invest in the new fire decks with the wanted engine, right? And that's quite expensive. So that's obviously also a strategy, and here in Master Duel, that's not the same, right? It is the same in terms of them not really wanting to change ultra rares, because then you get the crafting points back, but they don't need to worry about people buying their product, right? That does not really translate. But what they have to worry about even more here in Master Duel is people playing the game, because obviously people playing the game just equals the success of the whole game, which obviously it's the same in the TCG, but it's a more a stronger point here in Master Duel. So that's why they need to destroy unfun decks like the Runic strategy. Pot of Desires from 2 to 1. I'm not quite sure if we have one of the more important pots at 2 right now, or at 3, or if I think every important pot is at 1 now. Pot of Desires to 1. I'm not quite sure why they're giving back Sword Soul the long yarn, and then they're taking away a pot from Sword Soul, but it's okay, I guess. Not quite sure why we are doing this. I think this spot is not really insane. It's a big downside. But yeah, I don't mind taking the pots to 1, but I think they should stay there. They are a cool consistency tool that I think should stay in the game, but I'm totally fine with them going to 1. We have Kaiser Colosseum, another floodgate type of card, going from 3 to 1, even though at the moment nobody was really playing Kaiser Colosseum. I think back in the days you were playing this in Sky Striker, because you were always having only 1 card on the field. Once again, I'm happy with this. Put all the floodgates to 1. That's fine with me. We have Kashira Birth going from 3 to 1. I am not sure why they are deciding to destroy Kashira here. It might be the case they don't hit the Rise Hut because it's the ultra rare. You hit the Birth here. Birth is obviously super, super important, and you want to also hard draw it if you can. And if it gets destroyed, then your grind game is way worse. So Kashira, which was not one of, okay, it was one of the strongest decks, but never the strongest decks, now definitely is not, or is maybe no longer one of the strongest decks in the meta at the moment. I think they are doing this because then people are not going to see Kashira rise hard a lot, and then graveyard strategies can become better once again. So obviously Telements is pretty dead in a Master Duel here, but yeah, it might be coming back a bit now that Kashira Risehard will basically leave the format. We have Pot of Duality from 2 to 1, so another pot going to 1, I think it's fine. And then this one I was not really remembering, so I'm a bit confused at this point here, seeing this Poorly Delicious Memory from 2 to 1. So that really tells me that we will probably get the Pearly Noir, because otherwise the deck is basically dead now. So the Pearly Noir you can make with the Sleepy Memory, so you would then go your My Friend Pearly and search triple Sleepy Memory to have the cat that can basically then set the trap, and then you can use the trap on your opponent's turn to go into the big boss monster. So my prediction is that we will see the little black cat in the upcoming pack in January. That makes sense, otherwise this deck is unplayable in my opinion. We have Synchro Zone. What is Synchro Zone? Neither player can declare attacks except with Synchro monsters, so another floodgate type card going to 1. That's fine, though I have not really seen this card used anywhere. I guess you can use this in Sword Soul. You can only use if you tune a monster. Could have used this in Sword Soul. And then we have cards to be forbidden, and there are, how many are there? We have 4 cards to be forbidden. Let's go over them. Let's start with the Chaos Ruler. Obviously people were always expecting this to go to 0 as it is in the TCG and OCG. This is a very, very strong card, and you can obviously see what they are doing here. They want to hit Dragon Link, White Dragon Wyver Burster to 0 is definitely a hard hit. This also for Dragon Link. So we will definitely see the Dragon Link strategy, which is, I guess, one of the best right now, fall down in power level, which I think at the end of the day, Vanquish Soul will be the best deck in the format. I would suggest, or I would guess, though we will have to see how strong the Super Heavy Samurai stuff will be, because it was strong in the OCG, and there's also the Maxi in the OCG, so we will have to see. We have Card of Demise going from 2 to 0. I like this. It's an annoying card. You can see them really hitting the Floodgate, Runic, Stun kind of decks here very hard. I'm super okay with this. And then we have Super Heavy Samurai Soul Break Armor going to 0, which I'm not quite sure. I have to read this card because in OCG it's also forbidden. In the TCG, this was, even though it was at 3, never played in the Super Heavy Samurai deck. You can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or side of the field to that target. It loses 1 defense. Also, it can disturb a battle. Okay, if this card is in the graveyard, I think this is the most important one. You can banish all Super Heavy Soul Break Armors from your graveyard and then target one Super Heavy Samurai monster on the field whose current defense is lower than its original defense, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between. Okay, I'm not quite sure, to be honest, what this does. Maybe there is an OTK option or something with the graveyard effect. Not quite sure why this goes to forbidden. It's also forbidden in the OCG, not in the TCG. Very strange, if you ask me. I don't think that we would have played this, but yeah, maybe I'm not seeing. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you guys know that maybe I'm not seeing a big combo that you can do with this. And these are all the changes that we will get on January the 10th. I really like this list, really hitting a lot of unnecessary stuff. But then once again, I definitely dislike the hits to Kashira because I think it's a fine deck. It's an okay strategy. Not too strong at all. So in my opinion, there was not a real reason to do this. But yeah, I like stuff like the Chaos Ruler, the Wyver Burster, Dragon Link being a bit weaker now, and I'm very interested in seeing what will happen with Pearly. My prediction: we will get the little black cat. Little black cat. Let me know in the comments what you think of this list. Yeah, awesome to be back. I will make videos regularly. So once I have not made videos in English for a while, my English tends to be a bit iffy, but yeah, I will make regular videos now once again because I am back, guys. Thanks for being here. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.